Hello, everybody. I'm Josh Shernoff here for Fight, and I am joined by the reigning and multi-time Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion and the woman who will be defending her championship this Saturday at Hard to Kill here on Fight against Taya Valkyrie. Please welcome the virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have had such an impressive run since debuting in Impact back in May. You were named Knockout and Overall Wrestler of the Year, which would be impressive for anyone who spent 12 months in a promotion, let alone just 7. What has this crazy year been like for you?
Oh gosh, I don't think in my wildest dreams could I have imagined a year like 2020. From a personal standpoint, from like a world standpoint, but to be able to bounce back on my feet and be with a company that really sees a future in me and wanted to invest in me from the get is everything I ever wanted. And to have the last year pan out to be a 2-time Knockouts champion, to be the Iron Woman of Impact Wrestling, all of these accolades are everything I thought I could do. I just needed the right place, and Impact has become my home, and it was the right place.
Now let's talk for a minute about Taya. Okay, she claims while your year was impressive, that it was only because you didn't happen to cross paths that regularly. Something that, of course, changes this Saturday, January 16th, at Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. Taya is the longest reigning. You mentioned being a 2-time Knockouts champion. She's the longest reigning Knockouts champion. What does this mean to you, this match, this opportunity? Obviously, your paths have crossed more recently in tag team action. What does this opportunity mean to you to be able to kind of knock her off this Saturday?
Yeah, gosh, I've said it, multiple times at this point, but I think that for me to go toe-to-toe with the longest reigning Knockouts champion of all time only solidifies how great of a Knockouts champion I currently am, especially when I beat Taya at Hard to Kill. So it's an interesting matchup because I feel like I just have more to gain by going into this match and going one-on-one with her. But, she is the longest reigning Knockouts champion. So, if she loses to me, she loses that accolade, but then she's also not becoming the Knockouts champion again. So,
Sure.
I just feel like I have more to gain coming out of this, and I'm very excited about it.
So you talked before, we mentioned with this year that in May, you had spent 3-4 matches in TNA in the past. You had kind of stopped by for a minute. When you knew you were coming back to Impact, and obviously that was a very different point in your career, when you knew you were coming back here, did you have, you couldn't have had even the wildest goals for 2020, I feel like would have fallen below what you actually achieved. What was your mindset coming back to Impact? Did you say like, okay, this time I'm going to really make a name for myself? Was the goal to become Knockouts champion in that first year? Were you surprising yourself along the way as you were achieving all of these goals?
I think, of course, everyone wants to be a champion, right? And I think everyone subconsciously has these goals of like, I really want to make an impact, no pun intended. But like, I think that as competitors and as athletes, that's what we want. But we don't really get to say in pro wrestling about it. And you're just kind of along for the ride. And, of course, for me, just the journey that I've had up until, coming back to Impact, I wanted to do all of those things right this time. The last time I was Impact, I was, the shy 19-year-old girl that just started wrestling. And then I was, the 20-year-old girl, but still kind of didn't know who I was and have a grasp of character. And I felt this time I was coming in as a full package. I was able to present myself with like, this is everything I'd like to do, and I have stuff filmed already, and what do you think about this, and what do you think about that? And I was really able to give a lot of input to creative, but you never know. And I didn't come in with I want this and I want that, and I'm going to be this, and you need to give me that if you want me to be here. I was just like, I need a job, and if you're going to let me wrestle, I want to wrestle. And I think it's all worked out for the best. And I think that coming in with an open mind and with those ideas, but being able to like vibe off each other and really make the best product together has really benefited, me tremendously, because I didn't have any of those experiences before. And, now to be the Knockouts champion, to be put in these high stakes situations and be wrestling a ton and be able to continuously prove myself, I think our relationship is built on mutual respect. And I think that's most important.
So, I mean, there's no better motivator than I need a job, right? So,
right.
So let's talk a little bit about the main event, the 6-man tag match that's going on. Not so much the match itself, but the implications of this match. So we've seen AEW, we've seen the AEW World Championship on Impact. Of course, the Impact Tag Team Champions over on AEW. Assuming all goes to plan and you walk out a Hard to Kill Knockouts champion, are you thinking about that? Do you have any interest in maybe challenging the AEW Women's Champion? Alternatively, do you have any concerns that AEW's women's division could try to make their presence felt on Impact at your expense?
I think it's interesting because there's so many possibilities, and all we've seen play out thus far is, the Elite getting back together or the Bullet Club getting back together.
Sure.
And I think that there's so many crossover matches that if their women's division was to come to Impact, or if we were to invade AEW, I would love to have. Obviously Britt Baker is one of my very best friends in real life, and I don't want to wrestle her, but to have her on my side would be amazing. But to go one-on-one with Shida would be a dream match come true. And then, Ty Conti and I come from the same place and have gone through some of the same things this year. So to meet back up in such a high-profile match would be a dream come true. There's so many incredible people that are there that I think we could benefit from, and we have so many incredible women that I think they could benefit from. And, fingers crossed that, happens in the future.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about was, we mentioned 2020 being a crazy year. Obviously, your entire run with Impact this go-around all of these accomplishments has been during a pandemic. There haven't been any fans there to be really experiencing it live.
Right.
Which, don't get me wrong, is a great thing. That's keeping everyone safe, and it's the way that it should be. But for you, what has that been like? A lot of people who came up in the indies have experienced wrestling in front of nobody. But what has it been like for you to have these career-defining moments in front of nobody? Has it affected you in any way? Obviously, it hasn't hurt you in any way. I mean, you've continued to be successful, but has it affected you? Like, what do you think when fans eventually do return? Is that going to motivate you more? Is that going to distract you maybe when the time comes? What are your feelings on that?
I feel like I was one of those indie people that was used to wrestling in the very beginning in front of 3 people at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And that's where I had my first matches. That's where I kind of first put this whole world together. So it's not a crazy unfamiliar feeling, but it definitely throws you for a loop the first time when you're in a match and you're just like, I need something and I can't give it to myself. And that's where the crowd would usually have that slow clap or have that chant or have that count for you, whatever it is. And we don't have that, so it definitely plays tricks on your mind, because for me at least, I've heard it in my mind and I'm like, this should be happening right now, and then it's not happening, and you have to dig deep and you have to find that second wind within yourself. But I do think for me as a wrestler, it aids to my wrestling style because I am very slow and methodical and I like to take my time, and there's no one to dictate the pace. And there's no one that I have to be like, shut up or whatever. My mind can just solely focus on what the task is at hand, and there is no distractions. And I think for the Virtuosa, that helps me. But, I'm looking forward to when we have fans, and it's just a different feeling. And no one could ever imagine that they'd win a championship in front of no one. So when I get to raise that championship up in front of people and have them cheer is going to be that much more exciting, because we haven't had it and we took it for granted for so long.
Well, that pivots to my next question, which was, with everything you accomplished in 2020 in Impact Wrestling, what are your goals for 2021? I mean, obviously, hopefully we want to see fans back when it's safe.
Yeah.
So that's one goal, to be able to hold that championship up in front of them. What other goals do you have? In a lot of ways, if you look at it just on paper, you've kind of made it to the top. You know, knockout of the year, overall wrestler of the year. You're the world champion in your division. What else is there? So what are your goals, and how do you stay fresh, and how do you keep challenging yourself in 2021?
I guess the next thing to do would be main event to pay-per-view, right? And I don't really want that pressure. But I think that naturally that would be the next progression, would to be in such a rivalry that we warrant a main event position. I think that would be my goal for 2021.
Well, Deonna Purrazzo, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me here. Good luck this Saturday. The event is Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill this Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Fight. I'm Josh Shernoff. She is Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa. We'll see you Saturday at Hard to Kill.